Hello and welcome to Reviews. I picked this up last week. This is the Target exclusive Marvel Studios The First 10 Years. This is the big one. This is the one with Movie Hulk and the Hulkbuster. And this isn't really so much of a review as I just wanted to compare the Hulkbuster because I mentioned in other video I love this mold. And I want to show just some of the changes they've done. I picked this up last week for about 70 bucks at Target. Forgive my temporary setup here. Yeah, I picked this up last week at Target, and they had 2 left when I bought this one. And I went back a few days ago, and the same Target now has a lot more. I think I saw 5 of them. So, they're out in the wild. They don't seem to be too hard to get. Now, this cost $70 for the 2 figures. And I'll want to talk if it's worth your money or not. Because if you're like me, I'll be honest, most of the the first 10-year figures, I am not really interested in. The one that hasn't come out yet, the one with Pepper Potts for Iron Man 3, I might get that one. Other than that, I'm passing on all the other ones because I really don't like the Marvel movie figures. I prefer the ones that are comic accurate. So, just a quick look at the box here. As you see, we got the Hulk here. We'll take a quick look at that. Hulkbuster on this side. Really nothing on the bottom. On the side here, it talks about how it's from the Age of Ultron. This is number 7 in the set. In the back, we get a little bit of description about the Hulkbuster. You know, the usual thing. Just a couple sentences, maybe one sentence. Hulkbuster and Hulk. On this side, so this box is huge. On this side, you do get part of the panorama that supposedly when you put them all side to side, it makes a big picture. So this is one that, if you plan on displaying these on the shelf, I don't know why you just have the box and not the figures showing, unless you plan to take the figures out of the box and then take all the boxes and line them up. I don't know, that's kind of weird. But yeah, so let's go ahead. I'm going to open this up and take a look at the figures. Now, first up, we have the Hulk. As I mentioned before, I don't really like a lot of the movie figures. And the Hulk is no exception, even though the Hulk is just CGI in the movies. I didn't really care for this figure when it was first released. This one is a little bit better, to be honest. As you see, his skin is a little bit like a slightly grayish green. In the movie, if you actually watch, when he gets taken over by the Scarlet Witch, he's a little bit more of a, I guess you say, grayish-green pallor. They were going to make him gray, but they decided not to do that. This box set has no accessories. In fact, it's exactly the same with one difference. This is a new Hulk sculpt, and it doesn't really move very well. I kind of like the open mouth here. Hair looks good, and if I can get really close here, I don't know how well it shows up in the lighting. There's a little bit of like red, like eye irritation. I don't know if you see that. A little bit of eye irritation when he was being controlled, manipulated by the Scarlet Witch. It's a nice touch. I do like the head. The difference between this and the previous version, other than the not as green color, they did put some chest hair on them, and they colored in these veins that were molded on. Other than that, it's the same figure. And like I said, I didn't care for this figure. I don't know if they did, I don't remember if they did black on this. I didn't get the previous Hulk because this really isn't a bad figure. I don't like these elbow here. That it just seems like that's kind of weak, but they use this the hip joint where you have to rotate it and go back and, you know, do that kind of thing. It's not so bad on this figure. I hate it on other figures, smaller figures. You can't quite get your thumb in there right, and rotate it around if it sticks, and you have to put it under hot water to loosen it up, and then you get these lines down here because they did that in black mold instead of a blue. So yeah, that's just a minor irritation. Not a bad figure, but I prefer the Hulks that the Marvel Select has done. The Ragnarok Thor Build-A-Hulk was actually pretty cool. I didn't finish that, but yeah, and here's the back side. Nothing, no veins back here, no coloring. So yeah, this was just the previous one. I think was $20. I was looking on eBay and I saw that people are trying to sell this figure from this box set for $35 to recoup part of their cost of the box set. So he's not really the real draw. He's just something to pose against the real star. And I'll take a look at him right now. Now here is the real star of the box set. This is the one I'm sure that most people would buy this set for. This is the Hulkbuster. Basically, this is the Build-A-Figure from the Age of Ultron wave. Yeah, this is the box set figure. The colors are a little bit darker. Has a little bit of a different paint scheme. Well, I shouldn't say different paint scheme. They added in a little bit. I have a whole other set of Hulkbuster pieces, because I'm planning to do another custom. In fact, when I saw this in the store, I completely forgot this was coming out. And I was getting ready to prime the pieces I have for my next custom. So let's just take a piece here. I'm going to grab my squeaky chair today. For example, the left leg here. Hopefully this shows up. This is the European Hulkbuster. When they re-released the Avengers wave in Europe, it was still a Build-A-Figure set, but they had figures all from the movie. And they used a different plastic, a darker red plastic. By way of comparison, you can really see. This is the US, this is the European. I had to order some extra parts here for my next custom, so that's why I got a European, because it doesn't really matter. Just lay this here because comparison. As you can see, this bright one is the original, and that was my biggest complaint, was how much of a toy it looked like. But while I have these up, let's take a look at some of the paint changes. The plastic, it's a better red. A lot of marbling. The two I had in the store, I looked, there was quite a bit of marbling in here. I don't really mind so much on the smaller figures, but on figures like this, it really stands out. So, one of my complaints was they didn't fill in this arc reactor. Here they did kind of do a grayish on there. They also put in a white on the knee one. This, they just did a circle on it. The gold looks to be almost the same. It's a, no, actually this is more of a yellowish. Let's drop it. Let's flip this around to the back. No difference back here. It's still the gray. Still silver in there, just like this. My figure feels like it still has machine oil on it, and I notice it's very loose. But yeah, it's pretty much the same as on the other side. They filled in this arc reactor. As I said in my other video, this is a great mold. Still some complaints about it. They filled in, they colored the plastic here for the neck. They gave it the gray, but they didn't do the legs. That was one of my annoyances. That should have been a silver. And let's take a look at, let me grab one of the arms here. You see they did put the silver in here. They got it in there, detailing. It's not as bad as that cheddar cheese color. This is the original. This one's more of a gold, and a little marbling there. I guess it's on there too. And they also put a little bit of detail. As you can see up here, they put a little bit of silver. This doesn't have it. Wait a minute. I just realized these arms are on, the forearms are backwards. I just took this out of the package like that. I didn't really look at that. Yeah, they should be like this. I know because when I painted mine, I had to double check that the square piece should actually be the bicep piece. So, yeah, that's backwards. I wonder if the other packages are like that. So anyway, here, pretty much the same mobility as before. Chair here. I did notice that this, when I took it out of the package, like any other Build-A-Figure, it just, be careful with it, it'll pop right out. So, yeah, same thing with the other arm. Oh yeah, they filled that in. So let's pull this off to the side. So let's go ahead and take a look at the lower half of the torso. Again, the US, I only had the European leg there. Really not much difference on that. Yeah, that's so loose. Nothing on the back. Only a little bit difference. The arc reactor on there is completely white. On here, it's more of a grayish. Okay, see that? I don't know how well that's showing up. But yeah, still pretty much the same. There really isn't a lot of difference with the colors. They did kind of, that's bugging me. They did kind of step it up a little bit. Like I said, that neck helped. So let's take a look here. Grab the head. Really not much difference with the head. The red plastic. The eyes on this one, the white is a little bit thinner. But yeah, not much difference on that. Take a look at the chest, and this is one of the parts that really stood out on the old figure. This really looks so toy. It really looked like a toy. You see, with the darker red and the gold, a slightly different color, it looks a lot better. But the big, let's pop the head off there. The big change is with the neck. With it being silver like that, really helps. That's why when I did my custom, I made sure to paint that. I'll bring that up in a minute. So let's pop the head back on. We'll take a look at one more piece. And that would be the back plate. On the original, the back had, again, that gold. Well, it's not even gold. The cheddar cheese looks really bad. A couple little white spots here. Nothing down here. But if we turn this guy around, they went with the better gold, and hey, look at that. Can you see that little marbling there, that upside down V? It's the same on both of them. I really don't know how the marbling effect works, so it's the same on both molds. But anyway, in here, as you can see, they did a little silver in the new one as opposed to just the white for the arc reactor. And then they filled this in. They gave a little bit of a silver, and then just kind of did a airbrush spot there. Here it's just plain red. So a nice little touch back here on something you're not even going to see. So let's go ahead. One last thing, I'm going to take a look at. I'm going to pull out my custom here, and we'll just compare some of the differences. Okay, so one last look here. This is not me just showing off. I love this mold. I really do love this mold, which is why I felt I had to do a custom or do another special custom with the pieces I just showed. But this mold is so good, and so much more could be done with it. Again, it's very similar to the other one. They did a darker plastic, did some little touch-ups on a couple spots. Still needs some more here. And you see by way of comparison, like, you see how much better the hips look down here? Let's see, I gotta fill in some paint over there. Yeah, this also has a black wash on it for the lines, in case you didn't see the previous video. And also, I put in damage and paint splotches and everything. But yeah, we went with the gold and the silver in here. Also did the silver in here, so I'm glad to see that they did something similar with this repaint. As far as the back, yeah, I just went all silver. I didn't put in like a glowing arc reactor and just some paint splotches on there. This is a metallic red paint, so it gives a flex with clear red over it to give it more of a metallic look, which this one's better. I really like that black, just makes it pop so much better. But with this, we're getting better. If this was the way the Build-A-Figure was, I would be happy with it. I probably would not even touch it up. I probably would. I really hate the hips there, but this looks so much better than the original Build-A-Figure. So what are my final thoughts on this box set? The real question is, should you get this? It's $70, the most expensive box set of Marvel Legends 10-year anniversary. The Hulk, basically you're paying $70 for a good Hulkbuster that just happens to come with a bonus Hulk. Like I said earlier, I did look up on eBay, and there are people selling this for $35 to try and recoup the costs. As far as the Hulkbuster itself, $70 is a good deal. I have seen some completed Build-A-Figures on eBay starting at about $35, but they tend to go up, and I think some of them are also knockoffs, and yeah, it still has that machine oil on that, so, and these joints are really loose. But if you're looking to get the original Build-A-Figure, remember it's 7 figures that completed this wave, and for every Blizzard or Thundra that is like $10 to $13, you're going to have a War Machine that comes with the head, or the Vision that comes with the lower torso, going for $35 and above. So it's still going to kind of even out in the wash that you're still going to be paying between $100 and $140 if you buy the full set of the figures. If you buy the individual pieces, it'll probably bring you down more. I looked at some of the prices, and you're still going to be paying about $70. So, yeah, if you really want the Hulkbuster figure and you missed it, go ahead, get this set. It looks better, the color is better, some better fixes on the paint. Arms were backwards on that though, and you get a bonus Hulk figure to go with it. So, if you're not really that into it, yeah, pass it. It's $80, but that's a pretty good price if you're buying everything piecemeal. Yeah, I would go with it. Nothing new except for this head. So yeah, now I technically have 3 Hulkbusters. So at some point I'll probably have them all posed up for some more. So, but yeah, it's not bad. They didn't make it worse. That's the big thing. It's actually an improvement. And yeah, go ahead, and I would recommend it, especially if you missed it the first time. So if you sat through this, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Keep an eye out, because the new custom I'm doing, I'm going to start putting that out there. I may do it one part at a time, or I may just make one whole video with each step. This one's going to be something I have not seen anyone do yet, and it's not going to be comic related. So stay tuned, and thanks for watching.